The day my own son told me to get out of his house, his wife standing beside him with a smile as thin as glass. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I laughed. Because they had just found out about the winning lottery numbers. $48 million. And they thought it was theirs. But I looked at them, cold, entitled, already planning their new life. And I said, "Did you even bother to read whose name is on that ticket?" This isn't a story about money. It's about a mother who was treated like a servant, and then became the only one with the power to say, "No more." If you've ever been made to feel like a burden by the people you raised, if you've ever been told your kindness is a weakness, then this story is for you. Like this video.
Subscribe.
And in the comments, tell me, where are you watching from? Because what happened next wasn't luck. It was justice. My name is Margaret Collins. I'm 68. A widow for 3 years. And for the last 2, I've lived in the guest room of my son Daniel's house in Springfield, Missouri. But let's be clear. Guests don't pay $1,300 a month from their Social Security check. Guests don't fold laundry, scrub bathrooms, and babysit grandchildren without pay. Guests aren't made to feel like intruders in a home built on values they once taught.
No.
I wasn't a guest. I was free labor. And the day they told me to leave, I held the weapon they never saw coming. Underscore 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 underscore. When my husband Robert died from a sudden heart attack, I thought the hardest part would be sleeping alone in our bed, or cooking for one, or facing holidays without his voice leading the prayer. But the real test came after, when grief made me vulnerable, and my own family saw opportunity. Daniel was my only son, the little boy who made me Mother's Day cards, who fell asleep on Robert's chest after baseball games. He grew up, married Brittany, built a polished life, 2-story house, luxury cars, vacations on Instagram. But behind the shine?
Cracks.
And after Robert's funeral, those cracks widened. Daniel said, "Mom, the farmhouse is too much for you. It's not safe to live there alone." Brittany added, "We have space in our guest room. It'll be better for everyone." I wanted to believe it was love. So I agreed. I packed up Robert's quilt, his mother's hand-stitched embroidery, the jewelry box he gave me on our 30th anniversary. I left behind the apple tree in spring,
the creak of the front steps,
the memory of Robert mowing the lawn in his favorite hat. At first, it was calm. Fresh paint, neat bed. Brittany said it'd be wonderful to have me around. So I cooked,
cleaned,
folded laundry, told myself it was temporary. But temporary turned into routine.
Then the tone changed.
Brittany started speaking like a manager. "Margaret, could you handle groceries this week? You're retired. You have time. Since you're living here, it makes sense to contribute fairly to utilities." Fairly. That word was a stone in my shoe. I got $1,250 a month from Social Security. After fair share, deductions, rent, utilities, groceries, I was left with $50. Some months less. Not enough for a haircut, let alone independence. Underscore 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 underscore. But every Friday, I had a ritual. I walked to Murphy's Market on Maple Street, bought a $5 lottery ticket. Same numbers. Every week. 7, our wedding day. 12, Robert's birthday. 23, Daniel's birth. 31, our farmhouse address. 44 years Robert and I were together. Powerball 19, Daniel's graduation age. To others, just numbers. To me, a prayer. A way to keep Robert close. Jimmy, the young man behind the counter, always smiled. Your turn is coming, Miss Collins. I tucked the ticket away like a secret. Something that was still mine. Underscore 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 underscore. But life in Daniel and Brittany's house grew smaller. I wasn't Margaret, mother, grandmother. I was the guest. Spoken about like furniture. My opinions ignored. My seat moved closer to the kitchen so I could serve faster. And one day, I overheard them in the hallway. Brittany whispered, "It's actually perfect. Margaret pays her share, handles the kids, keeps the house tidy. It's like having help, except we don't have to pay for it." Laughter followed. I stood frozen, holding a basket of towels. In that moment, I realized I wasn't family. I was free labor. But I stayed silent. Because silence feels safer than confrontation. Because enduring disrespect feels better than being alone. Still, every Friday, I walked to Murphy's Market, held that ticket, and carried a flicker of hope. Underscore 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 underscore. By summer, the mask slipped. Brittany sat me down with spreadsheets. Margaret, we need to formalize the financial arrangement. It's only fair. She slid a paper across the table. $800 rent. $200 utilities. $300 groceries. Total, $1,300. Exactly my monthly check, minus $50. I said, "Brittany, this seems high." She adjusted her glasses. "But you use the kitchen, laundry, bathroom. Costs add up. We're not trying to profit. We just need balance." Balance. A word dressed up to disguise exploitation. Daniel stood nearby. Silent. Complicit. I signed. With a shaking hand. Knowing I had no choice. From then on, the line between family and transaction blurred. I was expected to run errands. Supervise kids. Cook for their parties.